Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today, in this lesson, we will learn useContext hook in ReactJS. We will have two sections. Section 1 we learn why were the hook bond, and in section 2 we learn how to use it. The first one, why were the hook bond? I will have an example, and through that example, you can have the problem. And after that, we use the useContext hook to solve the problem. We have the function components with the name EF, and we return in here the child components of it, a header component. And inside header components, you can see here, we set the border and style it to visual in here. We can see the header UI. And inside header components, we also call the child components of it a button component. And we have the click button right here because inside button components, I return button click. And the task of us, we will have the variable in here is a set to value. The first one's a dog and the second one's a line them. So depends on the value of the them dog or the light. This will changing the background color of button right here through button components. If the them is light, it will change to red color for the button, and if the them is dark, it will change the button's background color in here is a black. So to do it, I will use the variable. So I use the hook a use state. When we use state hook, it will return an array. And the first value of array is the state variable with the name is them. And the second value of array is the functions set them to update the them. And we call useContext, use stage. And inside the hook use state, we have an initial value for the them variable in here is light. And if we want to them in here a go to app components and back to buttons components, it needs have the intermediate components, a header components, because in header components, it have a child components, a button component. So now we can use the prop to do it. In header components, we have the props in here as a them and have the value is them. And inside header components, we get them in here. And also the button tab in here have the them and the value is them. And the button in here is we have the them. And we can dependence on them in here. We have the set for background color by using the style attribute in here. And we use background color and we use them to have a condition for it, a them equal dot. If them equal dot, it will set the style background color is black and vice versa is red. When I say it, you can see the button click right here as we have the background color in red because the them in here will use the initial value in light. So now we also have the button in app component, and if we click that button, it will change them from dark to light and vice versa. In here, when we click the buttons on click events will activate and callback functions will call and the set them functions will call in here. And we have the value a callback function with the them parameters as we have the condition for them equal dot. If them equal dots, it will change to light here's light as vice versa a dot. And the buttons also have this label chain to, and we have the conditions is them equal dot. If currently them is dot, it will change to line them. We haven't changed return line here as my cursor is dot. And in here we have the button change to dot because the currently them of us is light. And the button you can see in here it have the red color because the them is light. And I will click the change to dock. You can see the them of us now a dock, and the button in here is a change from red to black background color. And you can see we have the them variable in here. If we want it move to app components to button components can use the them. It need to have the immediate components like header components in here. So if we have a lot of immediate components, so but it's not you, the state variable. In this case, you can see the them components here is not you, the them variable. It's just pass the them for the child components, a boolean components. So it will lead to the problem for us, a drop ruling. Drop rulings is very difficult for us when we want to checking the mistake or the bug appears for the state variable. So now to solve this, we have the ideas a if can we pass directly value of them from the root components, the app component to destination components, a boolean components. The answer is yes by using the useContext hook in here. So the first things we need to have the create the context. So I created the context.js in here as we need to create a context because we need to have the them. So the first context of us a them context. So I export in here a cons them context and we use create context function from React and we put in here a the fallback value is dot. I will explain for you when we use the value later. So when we have the them context and we export it in app components in here, we can use the them context in here. And if the destination components, the boolean components, want to use the value from them context, and we need to boost the destination components into the them context in here. Or also, we pass the parents components of destination components inside the them context. Now you can see we have the header components in the parents components of boolean components. So now we can move the header components inside the them context task in here. And the them context need to have the value as we can pass the them in here, have the value remove it as we have the curly braces with them in here. And now we have the value for them's context and to use the value in here in the designated components in boolean components. We want to use them, but now we don't use them by using the prop, right? Like this, I will remove it. And the header components, I also remove the prop them in here and remove it. And also in boolean tab, I also remove them. And now you can see in boolean components, we don't have any them go through prop. But now to use the prop by using the hook, we use context. So in here, I will have the value is them to save the value, and we call useContext. And inside useContext hook, we will pass the arguments is the constant we want to use is them constant. And when we use constant with them constant like this, the them value is the value in here we when pass to them constant tab in here. So now I can console where you can see the value of them. So in here in the bottom, you can see the them have the value in light. So now it's worked very well. When I click the chain to dock in here, you can see the them will change to from light to dark, and the button in here will have the background color is black, and vice versa. When I click to change to light, and it will change from black to red in here. But now them in here is a not you the prop or any the intermediate component. So now it can use directly from app component to them's contact in here. So I will use the fallback value in here is e dot. So when we use the fallback value, so now to use the fallback value, we move header component outside of them contact in here. I will move it below as when I say it. You can see here the button have the black background color because it's using the fallback value is dot right here. And now you can see the step of re-renders. The first things when we change to in here, I delete and change to dot. You can see the first is app render again. App components in here is render again because React see the them variable in here is changing the value from line to dot here line to dot. So it will trigger re-render components again. It will re-render components app and all the components inside a header component will re-render because header components is parent components of button components. So button component now re-renders again. So you can see the order in here is a first things a app re-render and after that a header re-render and finally button re-render again. So now to component in here is a not using the not only using the them variable in here, it can also have the more the value for it. So in here, instead of using only state variable exams, I can have the object in here because we want if we click in the button in button component in here, it will change the them of us. So now in the value in here, so I remove header inside the them constant. Instead of using only them, we can spot the object in here with the first property is them and the second property is set them. As we have this, and now inside button components we can set, and you can see we now have the them variable in here have the value a object with two property. The first property is a set them function, and the second property is a them with the value a dog. And now we use the definitions of the structuring in here to get the them and the set them function. We use them, get them in here, and also set them. And now to click button in here, we have the on click button, on click event in here will activate and callback function will call. And now we can use the set them function in here as we checking the conditions of callback function here with them. and using them to have the conditions equal doc. If there's equal doc, we will set it to line, change from doc to line. Here's line, and vice versa a doc. Here's when I say it. So now when I click, you can see change from doc to line them. Now it changed to line them, and the background color of buttons will change from dark to from black to red, and vice versa. When I click again, you can see. Now, if we want to view the difference context, example, we want to have the code. So now the code will have information and any components inside the context of code can get the information of it. So in here we create the code context by using export code context. Create context as initial value for code a empty object in here. We have the code context. Now inside app components, we put the code context in here. Code context in here as if any components want to use the value of code context in here, it needs to put inside code context, and also the header components want to use the value from the code context. It needs to move inside code context in here. And also in context have the value, we set the value a object have the property a quantity. We have the quantity is stranding. And now the header components can use is by using the hook AU context in here. We have the call in here as we have the hook AU context. As inside, we need to pass the name of context, a call context. And now we have the code, and in here we need to display the code quality. We have the total quantity, quantity. In here by using curly braces code dot quantity. And when I say, you can see now we have a total quantity a strength is. So if we have the more context, we have a lot of context in here. We can nest it the destination components we want to use that context like header components in here. Or also we can nest it inside the parent components of destination components. We want to use the value of that context. So now we finished the lesson about useContext hook in ReactJS. Thank you everyone for watching this video. If you like this video, you can click the like button below. Also subscribe for my channel. And bye everyone and see you in the next video.